Dawn from Indigo Bohemian Art here, and today I'm going to show you a video on how I did a waterfall ring pour. And it is a big pour. It was 18 by 24 inches, and that's a lot bigger than what I usually use because I do up to 14 inches square just because it's easy to handle. You ever tried to tilt a big canvas? It's a little tricky. Anyway, I've done it in metallics, in warm colors, and the end result is kind of pretty. So stick around and I'll show you how it happened. Hey, it's Dawn. Today I'm going to do a waterfall ring pour. My husband suggested a color for me. He said brown. Brown's not my favorite color, but I will use it for the background. I'm going to spread it over my huge canvas here. It's an 18 by 24. And the other colors I have mixed up are metallics in warm colors. So I'm going to be a couple minutes spreading this paint out before I pour. So I'm just going to speed this up and I'll be right back. There, I've got my canvas coated with the brown paint. It doesn't need to be even, it just needs to be wet. And in a waterfall ring pour, you work on a canvas that is propped up on an angle. So basically you do the ring pour at the high end, and as you pour it, gravity pulls it down towards the other end. I'm going to layer paint in this cup, and it's a plastic cup from Tim Hortons. It had a large ice cap in it at one time in the summer, and I saved it. I've done a few pours with this cup when I need a big cup to hold a lot of paint. I am doing most of this video as a voiceover, and I have almost an hour of footage, so I'm going to be speeding things up from time to time, and now is one of them, so I'll be back soon. Here I am layering all the different paints in my big Tim Hortons cup. I love these warm metallics. They are all metallics except for the red ochre and the brown and the white flow acrylic. We have copper, we have gold, and we have a couple bronzes, I believe. All of the colors will be in the description below the video. Just trying to get the last of the paint out of all these cups. It's a pretty big canvas. We're going to need a lot of paint. And there it is. I'm just going to start at one side and do a series of waterfall ring pours across the canvas. Just start one and then move into the next one and move into the next one. And then I work my way back because some darker colors are showing up and I want to get them mixed across the painting as well. This end is tilted up on jello cups, the other end is resting on the table. And now we're going to pick it up and tilt it. But not too much because it's a lot of paint and we don't want it to run too fast. We want to hopefully control it to some degree. Oh, Floetrol booger. It happens. Some people regularly strain their Floetrol. I don't, although I do understand why people do that. Okay, we're back to regular speed here. I'm trying to stretch this paint, but it's not enough paint, I think, to cover the canvas, unfortunately. We can move some of it, but we can't move all of it. There just isn't enough. And that's my mistake. I didn't calculate correctly the amount of paint I was going to need for such a large canvas. I often do square canvases, in the 10, 12, and 14 inch sizes, and this is probably twice as big, if not more, than the usual canvases I do. It's not the biggest pour I've done, but it is one of the biggest pours I've done. So I think it was at this point I realized I'm going to have to mix some more paint. There just isn't enough on this canvas to cover the whole thing, unfortunately, but that's okay. Pours can be very forgiving. I'm giving it a shot at stretching it over the other end, but as you'll see, it really doesn't want to move for me much. My oh my. I'm going to speed this up again and you can watch me stretch and mix paint and re-pour. So I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, I'm about to start the second pour to try to cover this canvas, and I'm just going to work my wandering ring pour / waterfall pour across the end that I couldn't get covered. And I'll allow this paint to run into the other paint. It's all the same colors, and hopefully the two designs will complement one another by the time I'm finished. At least I certainly hope so. It's a big canvas and a lot of paint to waste if it doesn't turn out. There's no silicone in any of these paints. Silicone's not usually needed when you're doing ring pours. And if you use Floetrol, you may get a few cells anyway just from using the Floetrol. I'm just trying to stretch the paint, get my canvas covered. Picked out another Floetrol booger. Note to self, strain the Floetrol before I use it again. Here we go. We've got the canvas pretty much covered. We're just going to work on shifting the design so it looks nice and pleasing to the eye. Sorry, I'm blocking the light here, tilting away from the light. Please stand by. Here we go. Overall, the composition isn't looking too bad. Kind of looks like a white hot lava flow. I do have a little bit of paint left in my cup, so I'm going to do a series of small ring pours just to add some interest in areas that are maybe a little less interesting than some of the other ones. It uses up the paint and hopefully will be a nice addition to the painting. Now I'm just going to tilt and see if I can make those stretch a little bit. Not a lot, they don't need to be stretched a lot, just a little bit so they kind of blend into the painting better. I will tell you, I prefer my small canvases. This one was kind of awkward, at least in the space that I normally work. Perhaps it would have been easier on a tarp on the floor. I'm just touching up the edges of the canvas with paint that's rolled off already. I'm fixing up a smudge where I picked out a lumpy piece of Floetrol. Well, just touching up now. This huge painting is just about finished. Despite the fact that I ran out of paint halfway through and didn't have enough to tilt, it's turned out not too bad. I'll show you a close-up in just a moment. And here's the close-up. Sorry about the glare. We've got lots of little cells here and there. The painting is very shimmery from the metallics, and it kind of just looks like a white hot lava flow. The two separate pours actually merged together quite pleasingly. So I'm overall quite happy with this. Thanks so much for watching today. If you like what you see, please hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time.